Hey guys, it's Jason here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the video. Today we get to check out my new Kraton 8S EXB. Now I know this truck, guys, has been out for over a year. The RTR has been out for a couple of years. I had one of the semi-original RTRs, so it was the version 1.5 where they kind of changed things around on the tower to tower brace, but it still had the 1 million center diff fluid. So as soon as you got it, you kind of had to crack it open, change that to 20 mil, and you were good to go. But I have wanted that truck back ever since I sold mine. So I had kind of done some pretty good damage to mine, and around the time that I had damaged mine, the EXB version came out. So I ended up selling mine for dirt cheap, basically kind of selling it for parts. You know, somebody wanted to upgrade their chassis to an M2C chassis or something like that. It would have been a great platform for that. But I really wanted the Kraton 8S EXB, and for some reason, guys, I just never did it. So in this video, guys, I'm not going to cover all the changes and stuff like that, or cover the truck in general, because hey, let's face it, you guys probably know it just as well as I do. What we're going to do is we are going to unbox it. We're going to take some wicked pictures. We're really going to show it. When I was buying this truck and I was waiting for it to come, all I wanted to see was videos on the truck just sitting there looking awesome. And that, guys, is what I'm going to be doing in this video, as well as talking about why I bought it over the Outcast 8S EXB, which is also an amazing truck, and a few other things. But for now, let's just get into it. All right, there it is, the Arrma Kraton 8S EXB. When you get this truck out of the box, you kind of forget, if you've had one before, you kind of forget about your other large-scale RCs, and this just makes you kind of gawk. It looks so friggin' good. The body is amazing. The colors are awesome. The gloss black, the matte black, the gloss gray, the matte gray, everything just looks incredible. And the new tires, which I know are only a little bit bigger than the original, the RTR ones, does really set this thing off. It does make it look that much more incredible. And, you know, guys, it's funny. There's a few RCs that I've, you know, when I've unboxed them, and this is like, you know, before YouTube and during YouTube and all that kind of stuff, that really blow me away. One of the original ones was actually my Traxxas X-maxx, original brushed, the EVX2 in it. EVX1. And I remember just, you know, I was used to at the time solid axle trucks, so it was cool, so cool to see, you know, something with suspension and all the shocks and all that kind of stuff. From there, the next time I really remember being blown away was my Axial Yeti RTR. The first time I got that out of the box, you know, it was 7 scale. It was just huge. It was incredible. And after that, guys, there's a few trucks. I still remember the first time I got my X-maxx out of the box. That was awesome. The first time I ever saw a Losi 5T, that was incredible. But I do remember my RTR Kraton 8S, but getting this thing, guys, out of the box, it's just awesome. It's mammoth. I've been actually, guys, gawking at it now for actually a couple of days. I finished what you just watched about a minute ago, and then I just kind of, I had a busy week, guys. I got a few other new toys not related to RCing and stuff like that, so I was kind of busy with those. And then finally, I was able to get back down here and just, again, guys, take in what the Kraton 8S EXB is. I am going to, guys, in this video, I'm not going to make this a super long video like I probably already mentioned. I am going to show you guys the electronics I have for it, but I did mention that I wanted to kind of talk about why I purchased this truck and why I purchased it over the Outcast 8S EXB and any other kind of trucks in this genre sort of thing. One, I really strongly recommend do not shop on websites when you are sick. I have had this truck in and out of a cart. I can't even, guys, probably 7 or 8 times, and going as far back as my Losi Super Baja Ray 2.0, I've been kind of contemplating the Kraton 8S EXB purchase. So at the time that I was buying my Super Baja Ray 2.0, I was thinking of the Kraton 8S. From there, there was the Mojave, the Max, everything. Like, and I always kind of talked myself out of it just because of the cost of getting the truck and the cost of getting electronics. And guys, this is no word of a lie. This is exactly what happened. There was the sale. So it was discounted down, I think about 130 bucks here in Canada. And I had it sitting in the cart, and then I added it to the cart. Or I made my way through to the checkout, and it was funny because I was on my iPad and I was looking at it, and I was like, oh man, I really, really want this thing. And then my head started thinking like, oh, maybe I should hold off for it. And as I was doing that, it was like my body was like, no, you're not. Click. And it was like, purchase done, completed. And I was like, holy moly, I bought it. So it was like my body was like, you're getting it, but my brain was trying to talk me out of it, but that didn't happen. Obviously, guys, here it is. Over the Outcast 8S EXB. So I actually, guys, love the Outcast 8S. I had the RTR version of that truck, and from a pure driving fun factor, I actually found the Outcast to be a lot more fun. It's more nimble. It seems to respond and just behave better. It behaves more like the 8 scale than, let's say, something like this does compared to the 8 scale Kraton. But this truck, guys, is not going to be a hardcore basher. Now, I think I say that in a lot of trucks that I unbox, and then I end up destroying them in the first running video, the first run with them. But I really, guys, want to enjoy this truck. Yes, I'm going to jump it. I'm not going to make it a backflip king or anything like that. I just want to get out and enjoy it. It's a very capable truck. And unlike, and I'm going to kind of quickly, guys, talk about that right now, unlike something like my Losi 5B. Now, the reason I'm showing you guys the Losi 5B is at the time that I had sold my RTR Kraton 8S, I had this, and I was thinking to myself that maybe I would make this kind of my longer, you know, large scale basher. Meaning, I think I still had my Outcast 8S, which was going to be my fun, nimble truck, backflip, all that kind of fun stuff. But my Losi 5B would be the fast one, ripping around, you know, just taking jumps, nothing, you know, no crazy backflips or anything like that, just be a lot of fun. Now, what has happened with this buggy is that running an XLX2 800 kV is not enough. It's not fun at all. I've had this buggy out, guys, a few times, and I've even made videos, and when I get home, I'm just like, wow, this doesn't really look a whole lot of fun. And I wasn't having fun at the time. It just needs a lot more speed for this thing to be fun and for me to enjoy it the way I like to enjoy all my other RCs. That led me to the Kraton 8S EXB purchase and going through with it a little bit easier because I had this stuff. So in the Losi 5B, guys, I had the XLX2 and the 800 kV motor. This, guys, is the only part besides the truck that I did buy new for the Kraton 8S. This is the kind of the high voltage 5th scale Spectrum servo. This is the high speed one versus the high torque one. I actually wanted the high torque one, but when I finally decided that I was going to purchase this, because I purchased this after I bought the Kraton 8S, they didn't have any of the high torque ones in stock. This thing, guys, is still going to be, I think it's upwards between 1,000, that's my coffee, upwards of 1,000 to, I think, 1,200. So yeah, at 8.4, it's 1,224. I think the XLX2 BEC is around 8 volts. So we're going to be somewhere, guys, in around 1,100-ish. That is going to be tons of torque for the Kraton 8S. And the 800 kV motor, I wanted to initially go with the 1,100 kV, but I had all this already. So it made, obviously, guys, the whole purchase a little bit cheaper since I didn't have to buy another combo. My plan is not right now. I'm going to enjoy the truck right now with the 800, but during the winter, save up a couple of bucks, and I'm going to have the 1,100 kV in the buggy for next summer. This motor will go back into the Losi 5B, and I'm probably going to use a Max 4 in the Losi 5B. The 800 kV will handle, I think, upwards of 12 or 13 cells. So I think running the Max 4, running those higher cells with the 800 kV is going to be absolutely awesome in the Losi 5B. But for the Kraton 8S, XL2, 800 kV for now, so for the fall, but come next year, we'll have an 1,100 kV in it. Now, like I mentioned, I wasn't going to go into a bunch of extreme details on this truck, what makes it differ from the RTR. Most of you guys have seen that already. For me, guys, I went with the EXB version of this and not the RTR because I knew I was going to be doing my own electronics. I knew I was not going to be using the stock electronics. I wanted the 7075 chassis. I wanted the included, so this comes with the 2 motor mounts. So you're able to use kind of your standard size or your true 5th scale motor. I can't remember now the size is 49, 55. I don't even remember. But anyways, you're able to, they come with the mounts right in the box. That kind of sheds, for me guys, being in Canada, almost $100, because that's what that whole system or setup cost when I bought it for my RTR. You do get bigger shock shafts, bigger turnbuckles, the different tires, that awesome body. This brace, guys, right here, this mount, it's included as well, the red EXB one. I have seen where a few people replace, I think it's this rod end right here with the aluminum one. We usually try to leave these plastic just because, hey, you'd rather have something like this little mount break than have something more extreme happen, especially up here closer to the shock tower. So I'll see. I'm going to leave them all stock for right now, and I'll decide which way I'm going to go. It's always kind of a hard thing to decide. You know, if you replace something like this with a metal, is it going to mess with something else? You know, it's easier to replace this rod end than it is to start pulling apart the front shock tower and anything up here. So I just don't want to do any damage up here. I'd rather break this piece. But guys, this thing looks absolutely incredible. I'm so happy to have a Kraton 8S again. That it's funny, I've had this truck now, guys, for probably like 5 days at the time that I'm recording this part right here. And I've just kind of been enjoying looking at it. I've had it upstairs, you know, with me in the morning when I'm drinking my coffee, just kind of gawking at it, because this thing really is a very impressive looking truck. And like I've mentioned already, the beauty with the Kraton 8S is that you get a truck that handles amazing. Now, I'm going to quickly touch on this. I'm not going to go extremely into it, but we all know that the X-maxx is tougher. The X-maxx will take more abuse. So those fails, those, oh geez, I'm coming down the wrong way. I forget, I think I'm always like, oh God. That, the X-maxx does do a better job of holding everything together. However, the Kraton 8S handles better. It jumps in the sense of just, you know, getting your air, not necessarily doing backflips and all that kind of fun stuff, but just, you know, getting good air. This does handle better. You don't have, it's not as twitchy compared to the X-maxx or even something like the Outcast. And like I mentioned, I'm not looking for a trip truck. I'm looking for something that I can just go out and enjoy. I'm going to work on the speed of this thing quite a bit. So you're going to see a lot of gearing options. I'm going to change up a lot of things. In my original RTR, I ran an 800 kV, 3939, I think was the last gearing I ran in it. I've got a few different pinions, a few different spurs that I'm going to kind of play with now that I have the XLX2. So in my original, my RTR, I ran a Mama Monster X8S. So having that bigger ASC, more amps than this one, might allow me to push a little bit more. I won't know until I get it out and start running it. I am going to be running, guys, these here. These are the newer Gens Ace high voltage 7500 milliamp 130C discharge rate battery. So Gens Ace had a 7500 4S pack. They've had it now for about 2 or 3 years. Still high voltage. It was a little bit of a lower discharge rate. I think it was 100C. I can't remember. These now are 130C. Now, the one thing, and I kind of emphasize now there a few times, that you really have to know when running the high voltage and the Castle ESCs is that you can't run high voltage. So when I charge these up to use these in the Kraton 8S, I'll just be charging them up like a normal LiPo. So it'll, you know, each cell will reach that 4.2 volts and we'll be done. Castle ESCs do not like anything over the optimal voltage. I don't know what would be the proper word to say this, but basically their ESCs are set up that if it's a 6S ESC, so a max 6S ESC, that max voltage is your 4.2 times 6. I can't think of what that is right now off my head, but that's it. So if you ran something like a high voltage cell where you're topping up each cell to 4.35, the Castle ESCs do not like that, and they will, it's been known, and Castle flat out says that they do not want that. So that's the only thing, guys, when you run these high voltage cells, if you're running them in a Castle ESC, just charge them up as a normal LiPo and you'll be good to go. You won't have any problems. So again, guys, 7,500 milliamps, 130C discharge rate. That is going to be awesome. It's going to give this thing lots of runtime, but also provide, guys, tons and tons of power to that ESC for whatever I decide to give it. Again, I'm going to probably start with the 3939 gearing. I have a 41 tooth pinion as well. I looked up on YouTube. I was trying to find some videos if anybody tried running a 4139 setup, and I couldn't find any. There was, you know, 39 to 41 might not seem like much, but I can tell you guys right now, I just recently in my X-maxx went from a 29 tooth pinion to a 31 tooth pinion, and I don't like it at all. The truck doesn't feel good. The motor's a lot hotter. It just is not working out for me at all. So I'm going to go back to the 29 tooth. So it'll be interesting to see what happens if I go from a 39 to that 41 tooth pinion. All right, guys, there it is, the Arrma Kraton 8S. I had mentioned, guys, that this was going to be a fairly quick video. I just wanted to do a simple unboxing, kind of talk about my thoughts on it, my plans for it, you know, how it compared to something like the Outcast and the X-maxx, why I bought it, and gonna be, guys, in the next video, getting the electronics installed. I'll spend a little bit of time with the servo. I don't know if I'll do a separate video on the servo, only because, I mean, it's only a servo, but at the same time, guys, this was an expensive servo. So if we're here in Canada, I paid over $300 plus tax for this thing. So, you know, if you're thinking about buying a servo, usually you just want kind of a simple video. You want to see that torque. You want to see the truck sitting on the ground, whether it's sitting in grass, whatever. You want to see its response. You want to see how it turns. So we'll see. It may be a small or a quick separate video, or I will put it into the video when I get the ESC motor, and I'm not sure yet. But guys, if you enjoyed this video, give me a big thumbs up. Please subscribe and enjoy the pics.